They were scattered somewhere in the eastern countries. So he must have been delivered from the cross alive. He must have been given a chance by a God to migrate in pursuit of those tribes. And this is exactly the Ahmadiyya belief. Secondly, when he prayed all night to God and also kept his followers, his disciples awake, he rebuked them when some of them went to sleep. This is not the time for sleeping. Come join me in prayer to God that may Allah remove this cup of death from me, this bitter cup. Now this also gives life to some Christian beliefs. They depend on the optional sacrifice of Jesus Christ for carrying the sins of the sinful humanity. If it was not optional, then the whole claim will fall to ground. But what do we see in him? He is praying the whole night, "Oh God the Father, please take away this cup. I don't want." And he must have been given some promise, because at the end of this episode we hear him having cried out, "Eli, Eli, 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 lema sabachthani." "Oh my Lord, why have you abandoned me? Or have you abandoned me?" If this was destined that he would give up his ghost upon the cross, and if he himself was more willing than God the Father, it was at his own initiation that he was crucified and gave up his ghost, then why this cry, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani"? This expresses disappointment and great surprise, unpleasant surprise. So my argument, I'm quite sure, is very logical and understandable, that during his prayer of the night before and those of his disciples, God must have conveyed them the glad tidings that you will be saved, this is my responsibility. So when before swooning, we consider that to be not death but swooning. Before swooning under the torture of crucifixion for a few hours, he must have swooned, and before swooning he might have entertained the fear that what's happening, maybe I'm dying. So he expressed that last cry. It was in fact not only a protest but a prayer. "Oh God, don't abandon me. You have promised me otherwise." He was taken down from the cross. Ointment was applied on his wounds and the whole body was embalmed. An ointment which contained many healing agents. We have a full account of that, those constituents of that ointment, well preserved. And then he was kept in the sepulchre for 3 days or around that period. And again it reminds us of another prophecy. During the period of pre-crucifixion era, he also told his disciples that these wanton people of this age, they want a miracle. No miracle will be shown unto them except the miracle of Jonah of the fish. Now that also must have come to be fulfilled. Otherwise he was not a true prophet either, not to mention the Son of God. What was that miracle? Jonah was swallowed by a whale, as it is related, and he remained in the belly of the fish for a while. It is said for 3 days and nights. And then the whale vomited and still he was alive. He never died for a moment during that period. It was not a case of revival. That miracle did not relate to revival under adverse conditions. It was a case of survival under adverse situations. The miracle of Jonah lay not in the fact that he had died once and then revived from the dead. It was a simple case of survival under heavy odds. So this prophecy must have got fulfilled again, and he must have been saved from the cross. So what we hear is, he is seen walking alive after 3 days of his being kept under special care. And what sort of Jesus that is? Is he very different from the one who had appeared before crucifixion? Was there any change in his form and his attitude? According to the New Testament reports, none whatsoever. He was the same person, the same habits, with the same body, which bore the marks, the fresh marks of those wounds, which were inflicted upon him. And the same body which required food to survive. He was there in the same body. So once he appeared before his people, some of his people, who were really scared, and they thought he was a ghost. His response was, "I am not a ghost." Now this is a very important statement of Jesus Christ. On the one hand, we hear some of the witnesses claiming that at the end of the crucifixion he gave up the ghost. And this is what is most relied upon by the Christian authorities to prove their point, that you see, it is written very clearly that he gave up the ghost. But the person who was witnessing was someone else. He was witnessing things from a distance. He had no subjective experience. As against that person, we have the evidence of Jesus himself contradicting that statement vehemently and saying, "I'm not a ghost." So the new life of Jesus must have been in the form of a ghost if he gave up the ghost. But he says no. And he asks them, he beckons them towards him. He says, "Look here, look at these wounds. The same. Look at this wound. I'm the same person." And to dispel any remaining doubts, he inquires from them what they are eating. They say, "Bread and fish." He said, "Would you please pass some on to me? I also like to eat." And he ate of that. So all such evidence points out to the same conclusion which I have been building up so far, that Jesus was alive when he was taken down from the cross. Time is over. अच्छा, काफी देर से वो हाँ कितनी देर हो पता नहीं. Unfortunately, I am told that the time designated for this meeting is over since last 15 minutes. And there is another group who is awaiting my arrival. We have a discussion group to follow this meeting. So I'll have to take leave of you, although I was thoroughly enjoying participating in this question and answer session. I hope next time, and there should be a next time again, at least one next time, if not many more, they should be invited with more time at my disposal, please. 1 hour is always too short, you know. I know, you know it from experience, that such sessions always continued into maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, and even more. So have plenty of time available, and then we shall meet again. And I take leave of you now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for your kindness in coming and sharing your time with us. Assalamu alaikum and God bless you.